Welcome to Southeast News on Signature TV. I am Barry Kumo Ado. It's sunny in Enugu and it's a wonderful warm weather for us here. Let's go with the headline. Medical laboratory scientists to collaborate with Signature TV to boost health care. This story and more will definitely come your way. Stay with us.
With a population of about 36 million people, the Southeast is awash with stories. Every day on Southeast News, we tell the peculiar story of the Southeast and her people.
Our Southeast should be the Silicon Valley of Nigeria.
Their successes, achievements, and daily challenges. Do you have a Southeast story to share? Community achievements and challenges, completed and uncompleted projects, bad roads, water scarcity, erosion, flooding, insecurity, or even disagreements? Bring it on to Southeast News. On Southeast News, no story is too big or too small. Southeast News. Let's tell our story. Showing on Signature TV every weekday at 4 p.m. WAT, 1600 hours GMT.
The Enugu State branch of the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria is to go into partnership with Signature TV to ensure improvement in the quality of health services to Nigerians. The two parties reached their understanding when the leadership of the association visited the Raymond Dokpesi corporate headquarters of Signature TV at Thinkers Corner, Enugu. Correspondent Raymond Ken Mbata has more.
The new leadership of the Enugu State branch of the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria emerged on the 22nd of March 2025. The new executive, which has Edwin Ohenkwero as chairman, will pilot the affairs of the union in the next 3 years. Ohenkwero, who led other members of the ESCO on a courtesy visit to Signature TV, said that they were at the station to thank the organization for its quality coverage of the election and other activities which kept members of the association fully abreast of the events as they unfolded.
The first courtesy we do to any media houses to Signature TV to appreciate them for that wonderful gesture, to promote our activity on the global level, and for that reason, most of our members cut across the world, we are in tune with what's happening in the States on March 22nd. So we are here today, first of all, to appreciate you, not just for what you're doing in the community where we are in, but also for what you did specifically for our association on 22nd of March 2025. We have also, as an association, seen Signature TV as the fastest growing media house in the southeastern region of Nigeria. I've decided to form an alliance and a partnership with this television station.
Ohenkwero said that the association is committed to promoting the practice of medical laboratory science and advancing the welfare of its members through continuous education and professional development. He solicited the partnership of Signature TV, which he described as the fastest growing television station around the country.
Indicate our willingness to continue in this practice. We have listened to some of your programs, we've listened to Doctors in Five and the rest of them, and we are willing to partner with Signature TV. A situation where we have a television station, we are not talking about where we have now, we have adopted Signature TV as that television station that we partner our programs with, so that on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, our members will be coming into Signature TV to do one program or the other and use that opportunity to also sell our agenda for the people of Enugu State and also propagate the television station across the world, because we have members scattered not just in Nigeria but in the global community.
Receiving the visitors, the president of Signature TV, Dean Martin Ilo noted the invaluable role of the medical laboratory scientists in building a healthy nation. He welcomed the partnership proposed by the association, which he said is in line with the corporate objective of the station to cater for the needs of the generality of Nigerians, especially the voiceless and the downtrodden.
So I want to thank you on behalf of my colleagues. Even before you became chairman, I know that there were times your national leadership were here.
Yes.
And we rolled out the carpets for them at no cost. Because we believe so much in the objective of your association. A healthy nation gives birth to a wealthy nation and gives birth to a healthy nation. So we know that those professionals who belong to the association are contributing so much to the development of our country.
Others in the delegation include the State Secretary of the Union, Clement Aluku, the State Publicity Secretary, Malaki Anele, and the Treasurer, Kate Eke. Highlights of the courtesy visit were the presentation of some gifts items to the visitors and group photographs. Raymond Ken Mbata for Signature TV.
Industrialist Ebuka Onankwo has honored Immigration Officer Gochuku Orji with a 5 million naira cash gift for his bravery and arrested a notorious ritualist in Enugu. The call that Orji arrested Izani while trying to escape Nigeria for serial ritual killings and burying victims alive in Izagu local government area of Enugu State. Officer resisted bribes of up to 15 million naira offered by the suspect to escape justice. Onunkwo praised Officer Orji's integrity, said that Nigeria still have heroes like Ugochukwu who stood for justice when many tried to buy silence. The presentation was made at Onunkwo's home in Umabo Ihembosi, Anambra State, where he hosted the officer to celebrate his courage and outstanding sense of duty. Industrialists called on Nigerians to emulate Orji's bravery and use his story to campaign for ethical leadership and national transformation. Abia State Commissioner for Lands, Chaka Chukwumerije, and 3 others narrowly escaped a gun attack on Enugu-Umuahia Expressway at Izinachi. The incident occurred when unidentified individuals opened fire on their vehicle while it was traveling with 3 others from Umunochi back to Umuahia. The Abia State Police Command confirmed the incident, saying that it occurred within their jurisdiction. Chukwumerije expressed gratitude to God for their survival, attributing it to divine intervention. A bar owner was shot dead in Anambra State, with the police arresting 1 suspect in connection with the murder. The incident occurred near the Federal Polytechnic Oko in Orumba North local government area of the state. There was panic in the area when some yet-to-be-identified gunmen shot the bar owner as he was driving to his place of business. The reason for the attack cannot be ascertained, but it was guarded that the incident occurred late at night. The State Police Public Relations Officer, Tochukwu Ikenga, confirmed the incident, saying it was a cult-related killing. Kenga also said the command has arrested 1 suspect in connection to the killing. And that's the news. When we return, we'll of course be having our conversations. Where we're going to, or what the conversation is all about, just stay with us and you'll find out.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
there's a place I've been wanting to go to. I tried it last week. I didn't really get there, but this week I have arrived, and that's Anambra State. Oh, yes, you got it right. No, not about insecurity this time, but about politics. Because effective tomorrow, being Wednesday, political activities will kick off in Anambra State. That's one big step towards November 8, 2025, when the governorship election will be called. And of course, voters will answer, and they will not just cast their votes, but they will give their mandate to one man and one party. But before all that, let's find out what's been happening on the ground in the same Anambra State. There's this phrase I like using anytime I begin to talk about Anambra State. It's talking about stakeholders and structure holders. I have somebody with me. He's on the line. His name is Dr. Dennis Ikemezi. Good afternoon, Dennis.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm still here, sir.
Since I'm not a politician, I'm wondering about that.
I'm still here, sir.
So, back to my favorite question. Now, everything has been like underground, below the surface, all politicking, but effective tomorrow, they will have the green light. We'll begin to see campaigns, we'll begin to see various moves, subtle, overt, covert, on the lane to the government house. What has been happening before now?
Well, thank you very much. I hope in terms of political and politics.
Of course, yes.
Because, for now, as we discussed in the last, that your beloved party structures and parties and stakeholders are engaging themselves, as well as engaging and mobilizing for support for their respective parties. And then you will recall that we looked at appointment or nomination of deputy governors,
Yes.
which we agreed that most of them will like to pick from the Anambra Central. And it has happened like that.
Yeah.
Almost virtually all the political parties have picked their candidates from Anambra Central. Then indicating the vital role of politics in Anambra State and the engagement and involvement of Anambra Central in Anambra politics. Then also, the ban was not lifted for campaigning, but you see that some of them are already campaigning. However, as one of our earlier political bigwigs said, that they were not campaigning, that they were engaging in advocacy and consultation. I hope you remember.
I do.
Yes, they were engaging on consultations and then advocacy. Now that the ban will be lifted tomorrow, we will now see all of them coming down for proper campaign and then proper engagement of the voters and then the stakeholders, using their structures to engage stakeholders for effective mobilization towards on 8th November election. I think that is the summary of the situation on the ground. All of them are now engaged. They have selected their deputies, and then by tomorrow they will now be openly involved in campaigning.
Okay. Now that they are waiting for the green light, which automatically, given the INEC timetable, is tomorrow.
Yes.
Is there any conversation about the need to focus on programs, to focus on the campaign promises they want to give to the people, rather than on using unsavory language or involving thugs to be part of the campaigns. Is there any conversation around those areas, especially from the civic society organizations?
Yeah, I will recall, though I will not mention them, I will recall that one of the civil society organizations have trained monitors that will monitor political parties' disbursement of money, engaging in money politics. I think one organization has already done the training, about 60 people on the ground, to be able to monitor and then give them feedback. However, I have not seen any other counter move as regards to that. But I'm aware, I believe that most of the most civil society will engage in monitoring the election. However, you will know that monitoring of campaigns a specific function of National Electoral Commission, INEC, Independent Electoral Commission. Is their scheduled duty to engage on such. So we are looking forward. There will be the people that monitor campaigns of the respective political parties. Though civil society and media will have interest to do that, but the responsibility lies only on INEC.
You're right, but what I'm looking at is this. Unfortunately, there's basically no political campaign in Nigeria that you don't hear of some words that should have left our political dictionary, such as thuggery.
Well, for now, from my own observation, for now, it has not manifested, and I wouldn't expect that it will manifest, given the level playground and the level of political parties' maturity of the members. It may not resurrect this time during campaigning, but it could emerge during election in terms of trying to checkmate misbehavior of some political parties. For now, I don't think the fear will be much on campaigning.
Okay, well...
Of course, we know that some of these so-called thug-interested people are not many now, in the sense that some of them are gainfully engaged in one skill or the other, and then in one economic activity or the other. If we have some of those ones that are not engaged, it will be very minimal, and I will not look at it that they will be fully engaged and then for thuggery. Of course, where is the money to engage them? And also some other security agencies, agents, apparatus are also would like to monitor such an election and then be able to help to tell the incidences of thuggery.
Okay, now, just before tomorrow, were there any form of enlightenment for the people to know that if campaigns are going on, what is it that the average Anambrarian wants for the next governor? Is it the same old roads, water, electricity? What is it that they should be looking forward to, not only to hear, but that when their votes count, they can hold whoever becomes the governor accountable? Is there any way they've been thought about how to organize a people's charter, for example, from the ward level down to the state level, so that whoever is coming in understands that the people know what they want, and because of that, they also have to be prepared. It's not just coming to say failed electoral promises, but that this is what the people want. From the bottom top approach. Has there been any enlightenment campaign on such?
Well, I've not seen such, though, there was this debate whether the Independent Electoral Commission would allow National Orientation Agency to carry out political education, political mobilization, political sensitization, and advocacy. Outside that, I don't think that is existing, and the civil society organization may not have enough fund to do such advocacy or mobilization. Of course, you know that if you bring any group together, you entertain them, give them allowance for transport and others, and then who pays the bill or who picks the bill is the next question. However, most people will lean to respective political parties. Of course, you know that about 19 political parties are now to engage in election in Anambra State. So, and wherever one fixes himself, he becomes agent of mobilization and sensitization and campaign for his or her party. And invariably, for now, I don't think there is much enthusiasm on outside what party can do, outside party manifesto, what other people will now put in. Or the sitting governor or the party in power is already showcasing what they have done and what they will intend to do after the election. And that's why you see a large amount of infrastructural development and then engagement of youth and then other stakeholders towards mobilizing them for November 8th election. And this to be the contest where other political parties will now be able to challenge them using their manifesto in the past to say, what have you achieved in terms of security? Yes, we have seen massive road infrastructure. What of erosion control? What of drainages that is now ravaging most of the communities? And then insecurity also. Of course, this will be the contest. For instance, now we know that Anambra has declined in terms of WAEC election result as was against the past. So these will be critical issues in terms of the education, in terms of the welfare of the people. As the economy continues to bite harder, then people will now want a better welfare, a better civil servant will want a situation where better housing, better transportation, and then healthcare delivery to enable them to ameliorate the sufferings and the hardship. I think these are some of the items that will be fixed in various campaign strategy or campaign issues that will emerge.
Dennis, you know, you are a chief research fellow, and it occurred to me while you were enumerating some of the things that the campaigns will throw up, the fact that if the people of Anambra State decide that the governor or the government should do certain things for them, their opportunity starts from tomorrow to begin to say that rather than give us rice, give us money, I will vote for you, come and sign our charter. For example, long before I got to anywhere in the southeast, I have known that a place called Nanka had erosion problems. So people in Nanka should be able to tell the government that if you can give us a clear path to solving our erosion problem, you'll get our vote. Those who don't have water can also put that as part of their own charter, because it is time the people decide what they want and not the politicians telling people what they will give to them. Because some of the things they are promising them now would never be delivered. A typical example is this. Over the years, more than 30 years, you'll discover that politicians have been promising water, good roads, and electricity. But look around you. We have some good roads, but more bad roads. Look around you. We see that we have epileptic electricity supply. Look around you. Do we have potable water? So it's time we begin to hold politicians accountable And it starts from tomorrow, when they have the green light for these campaigns in Anambra State to begin to say, yes, we love your promises. They are good, but this is what we want. So, Dennis, tell me, how do we let the electorate know that right now and until they vote on November 8th, they have got the power to take the right decisions?
Thank you for this question, which will now help us to understand or look at the milieu of Anambra society, Anambra as a business community, and Anambra as a part of Igbo land that believes in representative government. And then we go back to structure. When you go back to structure, you will now discover that part of the structure of mobilization in this part of the country is the utilization of the town union government, the town union, the traditional institution, the age grade, even religious institutions or religious organizations will come into play, will come into a mobilization process and then aggregation of interest of what each community. We should now see them as community of interest as part of that structure, and then which dovetails into stakeholders. So mobilization process for these people and or conscientization of them will now revolve within these organizations or communities for effectiveness. And then party structure also will now intervene, and that is what we are trying to envisage, that the campaign will be between the parties and against the parties, while a mobilization will be by the respective structures, each intervening, each of the parties trying to intervene, to question or to aggregate or to compare or contrast what would they be able to do as a party when they acquire power. The summary of what I'm trying to say is that we will not leave it only for individual. We see it as a collective responsibility of Anambra State, divided into various respective communities, into respective interest groups, which will form the best area of mobilization of the people, getting them, for them now to articulate their interests. Of course, I don't know whether you are aware that past governments in Anambra State applied what we call the community choose your project initiative, community demand. What would this community need? For instance, in my own community, we said no, we don't need roads, we don't need the water. What we need is control of erosion. That was ravaging my community, and the government came and controlled the erosion, also gave us more roads. So the Anambra society of now is such that if you want mobilization, you apply self-mobilization, where you now reach them through their respective various cells, which we now say community, of which you are in love with what do you call it, structures. So apart from party structures, you now have community structures that will help you to reach out, that will help you to get what you want, and then it helps you in sensitization and mobilization. I think that's the way I'm looking at where we are going to, Anambra people are going to revolve within this campaign period coming up.
All right, let me just give you a little breather. You know that we had a conversation earlier, much more before today, and when the president visited Anambra,
yes,
Abga was saying the president was there to validate what they were doing.
Yes.
Why are you smiling? Although I can't see your face. And APC was saying that is a president coming to say it's our turn to take over. And now, the governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, did say that he was adopting the president for 2027, that they will give him the votes. But when the president was handing over the flag to Ukachukwu in Abuja, the thought was go and claim Anambra for APC. So now, on the political chessboard, where do you think the battlegrounds will be in terms of people who are undecided? Remember, when you were talking about the role of Anambra Central, that's where everybody was going to have deputy governors from. So where would these battlegrounds be? Where would there be opportunities for APGA to say, Area A belongs to us, and APC is saying Area B is ours? Then we need to make inroads to the other communities and other wards, electoral wards, and all that. So can you enlighten us a bit about that?
That's a good one. That's a good one. A good one in the sense that we've known now that majority of candidates come from Anambra South. And the majority of deputy governors as candidates come from Anambra Central. Yeah. While Anambra North, we now as our
beautiful
legend, Nnamdi Azikiwe will say, be the most beautiful bride. And in that context, you will now look at who are the structure holders in that, that structure will continue to resurrect.
Yes.
Who are the major structure stakeholders? And then who are the most friendly? And you find out that, well, let's say for APGA in the north, Anambra North, that the Speaker of State House of Assembly is from the north, however, from the Obaru side.
Okay.
Then you look at what will be his area of influence. What has he done for his people? That would be the question. And then within that in the north, I think they are divided into about four zones. The Obaru side, the Onitsha zone, the Anambra region. So, for the politics of now, of our brother Nyendeba, you give a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, then the center will remain. You find out that for certain things, the current government needs to do more in those areas, especially in Onitsha region and Anambra side. Of course, we know that about one of the candidates of a political party comes from Anambra North, preferably, I think, from Umuleri. So it will also may affect the number of voters that those people, other parties, or maybe his party will now will acquire in the in the north. So for now, all they needed, whether you have done something, then you look at the development. What has that current government done in those areas, the Anambra region, and then the Onitsha area and the Obaru area? This will be part of the assessments, which will be part of what the opposing party will use now to say, you promised this and you didn't do this. Or you promised that and you didn't deliver this. So this will be the area we are looking at. For general opinion, I think in as much as the government believes that it's doing infrastructure, what of the human capital? What of what they say, if you are doing infrastructure, what of the people? Are people benefiting maximally from the government?
Stomach infrastructure.
That is welfare of the people. Is it being taken care of? That is another question. People will be now asking. Yes, we have seen roads. Are we going to eat roads? And that's what some people are saying. And then some people will say, yes, we needed light, but we have not seen light. Of course, we know that very soon, as the state government said, they will now engage on this Anambra Electricity Commission, so that they will find out how to distribute power and energy to various respective. The state government, I think, is banking on the level of the infrastructure it has been able to deliver. And then the youth, building of the youth, which they said one youth, two skill. And somebody the other day said, no, we are past stage of one youth, two skill. We need youth to have multiple skills. You know, you yourself, you have multiple skills. You are not only depending on one. So one youth, two skill may be an old adage. Now, some will say, we'll now give you all use multiple skills. We'll add it to what you have earlier and then improve on that. So the scenario by tomorrow, we'll now see how they plan to engage the Anambra, as they call it.
Okay, now I like some of the things you said there, especially looking at the distribution in terms of south, central, and north. And then south and central appears to be defined, but the northern part is north. It's not defined. Now, does that mean that in terms of infrastructural development, from what you are seeing, is the north as developed as a central, or is it as developed as a south?
Well, evidently, let's go back to the history. We know African government will expire I think 18 years or 16 years by after this election, meaning that the African government has ruled Anambra State for 16 years. And maybe you are aware that within the period, Anambra people adopted the zoning system. I hope you are aware, which is part of while concentration of candidates are now from Anambra South. Okay. Because Anambra Center has gone under P2B, Anambra North under, what do you call him, Chief Willie Obiano, and then now turn of Anambra South, which the present governor is completing his year and then contesting to gain another 4 years, to make it 888, which gives you 24. And within that period, it's expected, or what is on the ground is that you develop your area according to your own evolution, according to your own wish or expectation. And the underlying factor is that how far or how much was P2B able to develop his area, and then how far was Obiano able to develop his area, and then how far is it current Soludo developing his area. So you find that the antecedents of development is now that the present government is developing more of Anambra South, concentrating more within the border area. And that's why they will tell you the flyover, this. Yes, local government house belongs to government house, not for the indigenous. I hope you know. Some people are saying, yeah, we know government house. Will some of us go to government house and stay? It's for the government that is in power. Is it not true? It is. And then the fun city, most people will tell, hungry person will look for fun. Hungry people will look for fun. You are laughing. Yes. It's like when you have fed well and when you have settled mind that you look for fun. Is it not true? So these are some of the critical issues. Well, in terms of security, yes, security has been minimally achieved. However, of course, you know, in other developed countries, there are always pockets of criminality in the society. So these are some of the elements of issues people are going to look at. And then there also will be comparison, because you are dealing with about 80% of the number are educated people. They will not look at their own side, what do you call it, the Anambra's North person will look at his own side. What our person, how has he done this? The central will say, and then they will not say, but this person in the south is developing more of the south. What do we do? Who is going to give us the balance? And then you look also at the respective community interest. What have you gained from the current government in terms of employment, in terms of appointment, and terms of development, which you suggested let them articulate their charter of demand.
Yeah.
Once it's developed, then the charter of demand will now be used to do a comparison of various respective developments of APGA government in Anambra State. I think that is the question. How do we evaluate Anambra State, APGA government in Anambra State within the past 16 years? What have they done? That would be a critical question. I think you know that.
The ball is in your court.
Hello?
I said the ball is in your court.
Let's play it and let's see how they will score goals.
Yeah, but a quick reminder. I know that some states, and I think Anambra too, some states begin to talk about development plan. I know that Anambra State also have a development plan. So how effective has this been for Anambra? So now we're not like dissecting Anambra to south, central, and north. How effective has it been so that you would see a semblance of equal opportunities in development, not just talking about zoning, so I get into power, I focus on my area, neglecting others, because that is the general idea on ground. How can we change it to say, this is a development plan of Anambra State? How do we ensure that development cuts across all sectors, no divides?
Yeah, very good one. Maybe you are aware that the current governor of Anambra State was the chairman of Anambra Vision 2070.
The 50 years development plan.
Under Governor Obiano.
And that's what I'm saying, the 50 years development plan.
Yes, and it was part of the factors that enthroned him as governor of Anambra State. The critical question or the critical issue to look at, how far has he been able to implement part of the plan for the ongoing 4 years? That we demand that he will be given another 4 years. I think that would be a good question. And how APGA government has been able to, apart from the governor, be able to actualize or consolidate such a development plan for the betterment of the entire Anambra State, not for the betterment of segregated sectional zones. Anambra North, Anambra Central, and Anambra South. So the evaluation will be done, but not now.
Okay, we'll look forward to that evaluation on Southeast News. We will, because it will give us an idea if a present concept that's in operation is really working out for the average Anambrarian, because sometimes when politicians sit and take these decisions, it doesn't cascade to the common man. You remember you were talking about roads, fund city, and all that. Somebody would ask, what about stomach infrastructure? Because you mentioned that a hungry man cannot have fun. So before I let you go, Dennis, tomorrow is just some few hours away. And for the political class, it is time to tell Anambrarians what they will do. But for the average Anambrarian, I think we should be thinking of how do they have the opportunity and the platform to let the politicians know what is good for them without the politicians dictating what is good for them.
I think we have touched this this question in terms of relating political campaign, political party manifesto implementation to better the life of the people.
Yeah.
And then also, we equally look at what we elaborated, that structure will not be only meant for political purposes, but for community development.
Yes.
And if we search for community development, who are the agents of community development in respective communities? You now think of the town union, the HTA, the traditional institution, and religious organization. These are the organizations that we aggregated together to pursue the interests of the citizenry within their own respective communities. So the duty or the onus is left for, apart from political mobilizations that will be engaged by political parties, other stakeholders will also assist to mobilize their people through their respective sales model to be able to package what they need. As the party campaign team visit their respective community, educated ones, enlightened ones among them will now try to bring to the notice of the respective parties the interests of their community or their towns in terms of or their wards. So it should be a collective responsibility. Both civil society, the citizenry, the religious institution, and maybe traditional institutions. So that, of course, you know that it is well organized in Anambra State as part of the Igbo land. And importantly, they play very important role, like age grade, even including what they call Umuada.
Yeah.
And of course, we know that there are series of groups that will assist and then support for such a public enlightenment. So, as we await take off tomorrow, we now look at what will be the approach, what will be the mechanism, and what will be the strategy that needed to be adopted by respective party structures to mobilize the people for the interests of their respective parties. I think that's a summary of what I needed to say.
Yes, and it's perfect. So we look forward to tomorrow. Chief Dennis Chukwuemeka, I have to let you go. Thank you very much for your invaluable contribution to Southeast News today. And as the campaigns kick off tomorrow and continue, we'll get back to you because there are some issues you raised, and we need to find out if those issues you raise are making impact during the campaigns or they are being ignored. Thank you again, and do enjoy your day in Anambra.
I'll be available as soon as possible.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate. And that's where we call it a day on Southeast News on Signature TV. I am Barry Kumo Ado.